I'm here at a Kia launch event today and the weather is absolutely atrocious, so forgive me for some of this footage, but I'm going to do a lot of this from behind the wheel. This is the PV5 Cargo, and over here we've got the PV5 passenger vehicle. Let me just show the passenger one first. This is very much about practicality and durability rather than luxury. So they're going firmly after the sort of fleet and taxi market, in my opinion. But I could see one of these being a decent family wagon as well. The seating configuration is very flexible. You can have 5 seats, 6 seats, or 7, I believe. If there's anything else, I'll pop it up on the screen for you. But all the materials feel like tank-like this thing's really built to last. You've got nice grab handles. This would be a brilliant piece of kit as something like an airport taxi, or indeed a local taxi. And then we've got the cargo version, which is your standard van, and I think the key rival to this one's going to be the ID Buzz, because this looks very well priced in comparison, and some of the lease prices on these have been phenomenal. So check out that link to leasing.com in the video description, or use the QR code on the screen to have a look for yourself. But at the time of filming, you could get one of these for like 200 quid a month. It's that good. So I'm in the Cargo. I'm not sure if this is final UK pricing or not yet, but they're saying 32,725 on the road, and that gives us 160 brake horsepower, 12.4 second 0 to 62 time, and that's fully laden. We've got a 71 kilowatt hour battery that can charge at 150 kilowatts, so that would give you, on a super fast charger, 10 to 80% in less than half an hour. It can also do 7 kilowatt and 11 kilowatt AC charging. If you do have access to a slightly faster AC charger, it can take advantage of that. Combined range on this one, 258 miles WLTP, and they're looking at efficiency of 3.3 miles per kilowatt hour. Now the payload's a little bit underwhelming. We're looking at 665 kilos, allowing for a 75 kilo driver. I was expecting that to be closer to a ton. In terms of load length, 2.255 mil. The width between the wheel arches 1330 and above the wheel arches 1565, and the height is just over 1.5 meters, which is not too bad at all. Something I neglected to mention is that there's also a small battery variant of this, 51.5 kilowatt hours, which should get you around about 180 to 200 miles WLTP range. They've just won the 5-star Euro NCAP Van Safety Award for this, so that's not to be sniffed at, is it? That's quite impressive. You've got this lovely big central infotainment display, and a really nice crisp driver information display as well. And there's loads of room in here. As a front cabin, it's really massively spacious. There's a little shelf to put your mobile phone on. We've got wired Apple CarPlay at the moment, but that's also available wirelessly. And nice big grab handles up here. Forward visibility is absolutely immense. It's great, this thing. And I really love the fact that, I don't know how well it comes across in this video, but this is nice and low. So you've got this huge side window and somewhere nice to rest your arm, and a little cubby in there, and a couple of bottle holders down there. It's a really nice design. We've also got 2 cup holders here and a big storage cubby, and we've got all manner of little nooks and crannies to keep bits and bobs in that you could see yourself using on a daily basis. It's really very nice. I'm really looking forward to getting this on the road. Let's do that, shall we? Okay, so once you get on the road, the forward and side visibility is absolutely fantastic. It does a much better job of letting you see everything around you than a lot of vans. Also, these wing mirrors are ginormous, which means you're not too worried about the fact we don't have a rear view mirror as you get in a car. You've also got a very decent reversing camera in this, far better than I've seen on some passenger cars. Certainly a lot better than you see on Japanese passenger cars. And generally, it's just a nice thing to drive. The steering's very light, and that might take a little bit of getting used to, but it also makes it incredibly easy to maneuver, which for a big beastie like this is no bad thing. No bad thing at all. The pedal feels really good. You've also got paddles here to control the regen, and I always like it when the regen's on paddles because you can adjust it while you're on the go. Unfortunately, the car's at 97% charge at the moment. The van, I'm going to say car a lot, sorry about that. The van is at 97% charge, so it won't actually let me go above the first level of regen. So I can't tell you what one pedal driving is all about in this because I can't do it at the moment. But if other Kias are anything to go by, I'm sure it'll be absolutely fab. And if you're doing local deliveries, last mile deliveries in something like this, I mean, it will be a dream, I'd imagine. I can see these being very popular with every delivery drivers and your Amazon delivery drivers, etc. Because it is just a nice thing to be in. And having driven the electric Transit, I already prefer this. Now, I suppose like the obvious rival to this van is the ID Buzz Cargo. And I think the ID Buzz Cargo is more car-like to drive than this. This is more van-like to drive. But it's also more van-like in general. You've got that extra load capacity. You've got the extra load height, which is nice. But the boon for me for this is the value for money, because you're getting a lot of van and a lot of electric van for not that much money. I mean, if you compare the price of this to something like a Transit, it's vastly different. And you know, at the time of filming, the lease deals on these are insanely good. They just seem to be unbelievable value. So definitely do check those out using that link in the description, of course. I'll tell you what, a lot of people will want to shoot me for this, but driving an electric van is so much more pleasurable than driving a diesel van. And I know diesel vans have all sorts of wonderful things going for them. You know, you can do whatever kind of long range trip you want. They can lug larger loads and all the rest of it. I'm not saying diesel vans are a bad thing at all. I'm saying that as a driving experience, this is far more pleasurable. You've got that instant acceleration when you want it. It's whisper quiet in here. The only noise really you're getting is perhaps the noise of your load in the back sort of knocking around a bit. But as for road noise, traffic noise, there's next to nothing. You've got faint whine from the electric motors, but they've done a really good job of insulating the cabin. And it's not, you know, sometimes you get out of a diesel van and you've deafened and you feel like you've put a shift in, like you've been working hard just to keep the thing. You know, if this were a diesel now, I'd have to raise my voice considerably. I'd have to be working the engine quite hard to get us going. And this thing, I've just got all the power whenever I need it. It's lovely and quiet. It's super smooth. It's relaxing. I could get used to this. I'll tell you one thing that's quite a relief as well. With this being a first van from Kia, I thought they might actually go for a more luxurious interior. And this interior feels perfect, by the way. There's nothing wrong with it. The material choices are good. You know when they feel tough, but not cheap? It's not like the interior in this is far better than the interior quality in a Transit, I would say personally. But it's not luxurious. They haven't gone for loads of soft touch stuff because they've remembered that this is primarily going to be a working vehicle. And hats off to them for that, because I think they could have very easily just taken a car interior and changed it, or taken some of those materials and chucked them into this van. And I'm glad they've resisted the temptation, because at the end of the day, it needs to be a really good, reliable workhorse. And you don't want it to look rubbish after 10 minutes of use, do you? And I really don't think this will. I think it's going to age very, very well. I have to say as well, that infotainment display in use is absolutely fab. It's really bright and bold. And you've got plenty of screen space there, so you're not left sort of squinting at stuff. In some vans, you get a tiny little, like, last gen infotainment display that they've chucked in, and this feels like it's kind of cutting edge. It's right up there with some of the best screen resolutions I've seen in anything, let alone in a van. So the rivals are going to be the electric Transit and the ID. Buzz Cargo. And aside from that, you've got things like Mercedes e-Vito and some of the Stellantis stuff, but I just don't think they're really going to compete with this. A lot of them are using very old EV technology and therefore a little bit more compromised. This has got a decent fast charging speed, it's got a decent real world range by all accounts, and it's just a nice thing to drive. And they look cool. They've made something that is a commercial vehicle that actually looks cool. It looks quirky, it's a bit different. And there's a lot to be said for a bit different in 2025, 2026. Let me tell you that.
Thanks for watching this one, folks. Not my best video by a long stretch, but time constraints and weather constraints played their part, as well as a general lack of talent from yours truly. I'm going to try and get the PV5 passenger vehicle in to do a full week-long review with in due course. In the meantime, please give this one a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you like honest, unbiased car reviews. And don't forget to check out my sponsors, leasing.com, via the link in the video description. Thanks ever so much for watching. See you on the next one. Huge thanks to all my channel members for your continued support. I really do appreciate it.